No!
Hello everyone, I am NA Prime and welcome back to another review. And today we're going to be looking at Samurai PROWL from Transformers Animated. This is the first time we've ever seen such a deviation from how he originally appeared in the 1980s Transformers TV series, which I'm currently watching right now. But just for reference, he's going to fall. That's how he looked like in the original TV show. Definitely nothing like this. This is all black, that's all right there. And in the original plans for the Transformers animated was to have him look somewhat similar to how he was in the original 1980s TV show, which I'll show right there. So they definitely had that in mind. And the thing is, they decided for some reason that they couldn't have two white Autobots on the main team, which would confuse viewers. I don't think it would confuse viewers. But yeah, so they changed him to look like a California Highway Patrol officer instead. For some background, PROWL is somewhat of a loner Autobot who is a ninja bot who trains in Circuit Sue Metallica Toe. Over the course of the series, he becomes a master of his craft and spoilers. Spoilers for the TV show. He makes the ultimate sacrifice of giving up his spark to save his friends and the Earth from Decepticons. So, starting out here in the vehicle mode. Here we have PROWL in his vehicle mode, which honestly looks super nice, super clean. This is super really good and accurate to how it appeared in the TV show. It looks just so good. I cannot I cannot glaze this figure enough, honestly. That's how it looked like in the TV show. As you can see here, it's really accurate. It's like they took it right out of the screen and put it into this little figure here. So I'm really happy with how this looks. There's one minor problem, which is that sometimes this doesn't like to tab in to the leg here. I was able to sort of get it figured out, but sometimes I still have a problem with that. And then there's some obvious hands back here, but you only know that they're hands if you know what to look for. And if you didn't, then honestly, I'd say that this is just a motorcycle. I wouldn't even know that there was an Autobot in here. But yeah, he feels really good with the sidecar. So, as you can see, he goes across the desk super good. The moment you take off this sidecar here, though, boom, all you have is this kickstand to rely on, which doesn't exactly do its job. Yeah. So, I definitely recommend keeping that kickstand on if you want to have him wheel around. Otherwise, not the kickstand, the sidecar. Because if you don't have this sidecar attached, then you ain't getting him nowhere with these two wheels. Which really sucks, but what are you going to do about it? For some comparisons, first thing we have is Legacy United Optimus Prime. And you can definitely tell how out of proportion this deluxe figure is to this Voyager. So, I'm going to let you guys know right now. This figure basically does not scale well with like anything, especially as you can see right here. I mean, honestly, this is supposed to be a fire truck cabin and this is supposed to be a motorcycle. So it should be like a few scales tinier, but yeah, definitely doesn't scale with Optimus. And then it definitely most certainly does not scale well with our Bumblebee here. This is supposed to be bigger than this. I don't know what's going on here. Guys, what the heck? So yeah, he doesn't scale well with current figures that are supposed to be in the Aligned continuity. And then for a fun one, here I have Transformers Animated Swindle, which he still doesn't scale well with. They're both deluxe class figures, and they do not scale well together at all with each other. So yeah, don't expect to have this guy in bike mode and look good with the rest of the figures in your collection. But getting into transformation here, first thing we want to do is take off the sidecar. Oh no. As I was saying, take this sidecar, put it to the side for now. I'm going to come to the bike mode. So, first thing we want to do, let's focus on the legs. Going to detach these little tabs. Well, this one's already detached. We're going to detach the tabs from this leg part here, so just pop them out. And then we can bring down this leg, just like that. And then same thing over here. Well, actually, not really the same thing. The leg goes in to here, so we're just going to pull the leg forward. like that, and then you can have him around, walking around super stylish. And that was awful. That was really bad. um, Next thing we're gonna want to do is detach the arms right here, just like that, and then we're gonna bring this little black part down, rotate the hips, and then bring these out just like that. And then for the next step, I suggest doing this. You don't have to. Bring in these little side parts, so then it's easier for it to go under, just like that. Ta-da! And there's PROWL. And then we're gonna put in these handlebars here. Get in there. There we go. Put these down. Come to the arms. We're gonna raise these up. Same on the other side. Flip it around and then raise it up. Get them looking all nice. And there is PROWL. He does not like to balance one bit. But yeah, PROWL is a super good looking figure. I really like how long he is. He looks really cool and faithful to how he appeared in the show, which I'll show in a bit. But overall, this figure is really posable, really clean, and looks super nice. So as I was saying, he's kind of lengthy in my opinion. All his bike kibble was mainly in the legs here. So once you extend those legs out, he really just gets really taller out of blue. As for accuracy, that's how he looked like in the TV show. So once again, with these animated figures, they went straight for accuracy, taking it right out of the screen and putting it into these figures. It looks super good, super clean. I really like how this figure looks compared to how it was in the TV show. As for articulation, we have a full 360 here in the shoulder that can go all the way around. Same on the other side. We have a 90-degree elbow bend, just like that. And then we sadly do not have anything in the hands, not even a wrist that goes in or out. No fingers, nothing. He can't do anything there, but I'll show you why that is in a bit. And then coming to the head here, the head can go side to side, just like that. And also, it could go down if you want a neck, but that's not a neck. It's not really a neck, but sure if you want that. And then we have these back fins here, which aren't exactly traditional articulation, but they're there as a point to help with poses and such. We have a little ball joint right here, but I think that's mainly for transformation. Yeah, I think that's mainly for transformation because we can't exactly... we could get a little bit forward like that. But it's mainly for transformation. At the hips here, he can do the full splits. Go all the way out just like that. Really nice. And then we can also go all the way back and forward with these legs and do another splits. Basically, these legs can go all around since they're on these ball joints, which this figure made me hate ball joints. He's just... I hate ball joints. You'll see when I cut the video a lot. But legs can go back that much, and they can go forward that much. And then they can obviously go out to the side that much. And then we have a knee bend here, which is 90. Really nice, standard, pretty good. And then we have this articulation right here, which is for bike mode, but I'd consider it articulation for the bot mode. I don't exactly know what you'd do with it. I guess you'd call it a shin bend. I don't know. But you could get it bent here and then like have him driving around on his wheels or something. I don't know. But that's a point of articulation. And then lastly, we have the toes here that can go up that much and then down. Come on. They can go down that much. So pretty basic, but overall good articulation from this figure. Now then, as for those hands, as I was talking earlier, we're going to come back to those. These are ninja stars on his wheels. And with the original figure, you could open it up by holding one of these like sharp edges and then pulling, it would open up and then you'd just be able to put it in his hand. But with this release of the samurai armor, they didn't do that. I don't know why. I really don't know why they didn't do it. But yeah, neither of these open up on for the hand. That really sucks. So you know what I say? Take them, throw them away. They're garbage. They're useless. Instead, go on eBay like how I did and spend money for replacements for the ones that originally came with the original release of PROWL that work perfectly as intended, just like that. And then they can go into his hands just like that, and he can hold them and pose with them and everything. I'm really happy that they included this hand sculpt with this figure, because it really would suck if you couldn't have him with his ninja stars. But I'm gonna always forever keep my PROWL with these golden ninja stars instead of those crappy black ones that don't open. But yeah, that is everything for this part. Let's get into some comparisons. Jumping into some comparisons here. Here we have our Legacy United Optimus, which PROWL's almost the same height as him, but it scales pretty alright, I guess. Better than how it did in vehicle mode, at least. And then next, here we have our Bumblebee, which, yikes. You can definitely see how far deluxes have fallen since 2008, that's for sure. Definitely does not scale well with this little Bumblebee here, who's supposed to be the same size class. And then for a fun one, we have Shockwave from our last review, which, by the way, I forgot to mention. He has an ab crunch right there. Focus. Oh, my camera doesn't want to focus. But yeah, he has an ab crunch right there. You can go out, and that can go in. So that's a nice piece of articulation that makes him look a little bit more slender, in my opinion. But yeah, he definitely makes Voyager... Shockwave definitely makes Voyager more grand in sense of Deluxe and Voyager. He definitely takes PROWL out with this scale here of his size. Just a reminder, Deluxe, Voyager, this is one step above that. So definitely massive height difference here. And that's it for comparisons. So let's get him armored up. So we're going to come here to the... He looked like he was going to fall there for a second. Thank God he didn't. But going to come here to the sidecar. We're going to detach this wheel right here. If it would come out. There we go. We'll come back to this. This is sword. And we have the armor. So we're going to, let's see. We're going to bring these out first. These sides. And then bring them down. And then up. Same on the other side. Up, and then detach in the middle. Ta-da! And then I'd recommend bringing these shoulder pads down. Oh boy, that one likes to come off a lot. Anyway, bringing down those shoulder pads so it's easier to get him into it. And then bring the helmet up, which has sticky tack in it. The helmet really does not like to stay on for some reason, so I had to put some sticky tack in there so it could hold. Big yikes. Bump. So, we're going to come to PROWL here. We're going to lift these little fins up. And then I'd suggest bringing these arms up. And then we can put the armor on. So these little spots on the sides here are going to go like sort of here. And then these tabs up here are going to go into his fins up there. So just get it all lined up. And you should be able to just put it right on him. I still have a little bit of trouble with it sometimes, though. Let's see if I got it. Helmet goes just up and over. Shoulder goes under. Which you think it would be better if it went over, but I don't know. And then same on the other side. And then you just have these hug his hips there. And then testing it. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And then we can bring that wheel back. It's just going to go right onto his arm. Just like that. And there is Samurai PROWL. Oh, come on. Balance. Balance, damn you. He ain't gonna balance. So here's PROWL looking all nice and cool. You can get him some pretty alright poses. His articulation is definitely limited, but we'll talk about that in a second. But he's definitely way more beefed up than how he was without the armor. Um, he's really back heavy. He's really, really back heavy now. And this is the best I could get him into. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, he does not want to stay forward at all. So I kind of had to have him hunched over right here. It's the best I could do. I'm sorry. But as for accuracy, he's super accurate to how he was portrayed in the show. There he is. That's how he looked like in the show. There's one problem though, and that he's supposed to have wheels on both sides of his arms. And in the pro and it really sucks. But that's my one main problem with this armor here. And then another problem I have, but this is more so my fault. He kind of took a shelf dive, so there's a little crack right there if you see it. Might not be able to, but yeah, there's a little crack like right there, and I was able to get some like I think it was like some of the Craggle stuff, like from the Lego movie. I just applied some right there and then put it on, and it's all good now. So, yay. But if you ever run into that problem, just put some glue on it. It'll do the job. But the good glue, like the, strong glue, not that, like, Elmer's glue. Articulation, we have 90 degrees elbow bend here in both arms. But sadly, he cannot go all the way around like how he could before. It's kind of limited by this shoulder piece here, so you can't really go all that forward. You can definitely go back, but not all the way around. So that definitely sucks. And then for the head, it's way more limited now. So come in here. His head can go side to side. We've been over this before. But with the helmet, it just rests on top of his head. And it doesn't really move with it. So say if you move his head to the left here, and then you try to put the helmet there, it's not really going to work. It always just wants to be forward. So that really sucks. I wish they could have like had something where the helmet attached to the top of his head or something. That would have made it 10 times better in my opinion, but it does the job pretty nicely. Just sadly, you won't get much out of that head. And then we still have same down here. You can do the split sorta. Sorta. It's not as good as it was before, but it's still a little bit of something. You can obviously go forward and then back. And then, as we saw, the side to side isn't that as good as it used to be. But you can still do the splits like this. And then obviously we still have the knees and then the shin and then the toes. None of this down here is limited by this. But there are definitely some compromises with the figure's articulation in this mode, but in my opinion, it's okay because this armor makes him look totally badass, so like, it's alright in my book. And for comparisons, stay right there. Stay. Good. For comparisons, here we have our Legacy United Optimus again, of which he is almost the same size as this Optimus here, so oh boy. For Deluxe, and this being a Voyager, it definitely does not scale that well. And then you don't even want to imagine with Legacy United Bumblebee. Poor guy doesn't stand a chance against him. Oh my god. And then here we have Shockwave. They were released around the same time, so this scaling won't be as egregious. Kind of have to raise up my camera. The scaling isn't as egregious as it is with the others, as I definitely believe if we saw these two together on screen, this is what it would look like. But sadly, that never came to be. But I think it's a pretty good comparison overall. And one more thing. The armor. So it was brought into the show originally as like a it was supposed to be sort of like a teaching moment for PROWL that like you need to be good enough as you are already, not without the armor. Because, like, it's basically, it was trying to teach him, like, you're good on your own. You don't need the armor. But then Hasbro saw the episode and they were like, yo, Bring that back. We need it as a toy right now. So they had to integrate this armor back into the show somehow, and I think it was really funny because, in my opinion, it was sort of a retcon, but it wasn't at the same time. But it was just really funny to see see it literally just brought back for toy purposes. But at the end of the day, it gave us a pretty kick-ass looking toy. So I think it was worth it. But yeah, that's everything on Prowl. Thank you guys so much for watching. I apologize about this video taking so long. I just had a lot of audio problems and then some recording problems. Like I didn't like how it was formatted and such. But thank you guys so much for sticking around. I really appreciate the love and support that you guys give to me every episode. It's really appreciated. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.